Here we go then. Yes, we are back, and all I can say is I can't believe what has happened this week. Of course, we have the obvious thing, but also one or two dramas behind the scenes here as well concerning my technology. Here we go again. Yes, it is another English Addict, and yes, look out the window, we are having the most amazing day. I almost did the live stream outside, but sadly I have so many problems at the moment with my equipment. Perhaps it's my age, who knows. Yes, it is English Addict coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. Do you see what I mean? Now you know what I mean. See, that was not supposed to do that. It was supposed to do something else. Let's try that again, shall we? I like to get things right. You see? This is what I like to do. I always like to get things right. I suppose you might call me a perfectionist. If things don't go right, then I do become annoyed. Very annoyed. Here we go. Yes, English Addict coming to you live from the birthplace of English, which just happens to be England. There is one thing I believe in, and that is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's what I'm doing today. Here we go then. Hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I really hope so. I don't know where to start. It seems so sad to be here on such a glorious, beautiful day. And this week has been eventful, let's just say, in many, many ways. Wherever you are watching in the world, whatever you are doing at the moment, I hope you are sitting safe and well, wherever you are in the world. Here we go then. Yes, it's English Addict with myself, Mr. Duncan. I talk about English. You might say I'm one of those. A lot of people say I am one of those. And yes, I am. Definitely one of those English addicts. I love the English language so much. You might say that I am an English addict, you see. Yeah, well, that's it. That's normally how it works. I'm hoping that everything is working all right here. I am a little bit worried today, you see, because I've had a lot of drama with my computer. If you remember last week, I did have quite a few problems with my computer device, my computer equipment, which has been playing up. It has been misbehaving. It has been not working very well, let's just say. And during the week, I decided to completely take my computer to pieces. I opened the box, I took the side off my computer, and I pulled out all of the bits and pieces. And I've actually bought some new parts for the computer, and I put them in myself. I did it all on my own. Unfortunately, at first it didn't work properly. I couldn't get the computer to actually work. So I spent 2 days trying to get my computer to work, which also included getting up very early in the morning. So one morning I actually got up at around about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I spent 2 hours working on the computer trying to get it functioning again, because it wouldn't work. You know what it's like. Technology, when it goes wrong, it's really annoying. In fact, here we go then. Yes, we are back once more. We have made it to the end of not only another week, but also towards the end of another weekend as well. Without blowing ourselves up just yet. Oh, and also March is just around the corner as well, which means that springtime is on the way. Yes, it's Sunday. Sunday has arrived. I hope your day is going as well as it can. It is a beautiful day. I can't believe how nice it is. You can see behind. The sun is out at the moment. You might see the occasional car driving by. And also, look, if you look very closely, there are some sheep as well in the field. Something for you to watch. So if you get bored looking at my face, you can always watch the sheep up there. Although you won't be able to see them for very long, because interrupting your view in around about 15 minutes, we have Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve yesterday was performing in a show, and I went along to see him doing that. Not only that, but I also managed to do a little bit of filming as well. So we have Mr. Steve up on stage. A video clip with some excerpts from the show that Mr. Steve starred in yesterday. He was there singing with his lovely, rich tenor voice. So I look forward to that, and I hope you do as well. Yes, we have the live chat also. Hello, live chat. How are you today? I hope you are having a good day wherever you are in the world. Yes, we are back once again. And, oh, I see. I can see who was first on today's live chat. Congratulations once again to Vitas. You are the king of clicking. I think so. Congratulations, you are first on today's live chat. Where are you? Where are you watching today? Wherever you are in the world, whoever you are, join in right now on the live chat. Everyone is welcome. I will not turn anyone away. Everyone is welcome here. And if you want to tell me where you are in the world, please do that as well. I'm always interested to find out where you are. Whether you are just around the corner from my house, perhaps. I have a feeling that some of my neighbours might watch this live stream. So just in case, maybe, perhaps, one of my neighbours is watching. Hello. Yes. I'm that strange guy that lives at the top of the hill. You will often see me walking around the village with my camera and my microphone in my hand. That's what it is, yes. It's a microphone, so don't panic. Wherever you are in the world, hello to you, and congratulations to Vitas. Well done. Can I say a special hello to Claudia, who is not feeling very well at the moment? If Claudia is here, hello Claudia, I hope you are watching. You might not be on the live chat. I understand, but I hope you are feeling okay. If you want to tell everyone what is happening with you, you can. I won't, because it's your personal business, your personal affair, you see. So if you want to tell everyone, you can, but I won't, for obvious reasons. Hello to Myanmar. Oh my goodness. Hello Myanmar. Nice to see you here today. I do have some people watching where you are, but can I say welcome to Myanmar? Very nice to see you here. So many people already joining in. I think... Oh, I see. Yes, Claudia is here. Hello, Claudia. If you want to tell everyone what is happening with you, you can. Don't worry. But I won't mention it because it's your personal thing, you see. Hello also Tomek, Palmyra, Sandra Gonzalez is here today. I know that we will not have Luis. Luis Mendez will not be here today. Luis Mendez is not here today because he is having the same problem as me. His computer has gone kaput. So he's waiting to have his computer repaired. So that is the reason why Lewis is not here today. Who else is here? We have Ukraine here. Hello, Ukraine. I know I have a lot of viewers and a lot of followers and subscribers watching in Ukraine. So can I say hello to you as well? And I hope you are staying safe. Hello also to Maria. We also have Hamda. Hello, Hamda. Nice to see you here as well. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Mr. Steve will be here live, but also we are going to watch and we will listen to Mr. Steve singing yesterday in a special show that he was part of. Hello, Zudzika. We also have Laura Pavone. Hello to you as well. We also have Rosa Hakan. Hello to Hakan, watching in Indonesia. You might be one of the most distant viewers because Indonesia is a very long way from England. So you might be one of the most distant viewers. Hello to you. Hello also to Rungsak. Hello Rungsak, watching in Thailand. Hello to you and a big hi to everyone watching in Thailand. It is an international English corner. In fact, this might be the largest classroom in the world because it's not just me here in my studio in England, it's you as well. Around the world watching right now. So it's very nice to see you here today. A very busy week. I had some technical problems with my computer and I can't believe it. I can't believe that I was able to fix my computer. Although it is not 100%. There is something else I have to buy. If you know about computers, you will know that if you want to do certain types of things, such as play games or live stream like this, you need to have a very good computer. So my computer now is over 4 years old and some of the parts were starting to break or malfunction. They were starting to break down. So I've changed some of the parts, but other parts I still have to wait for because they are very expensive. If you know about computers, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, I'm talking about graphics cards. The graphics card is the thing that I'm talking about. Very expensive at the moment, the graphics card. If you want one of those for your computer, it will cost you a lot of money because a lot of people have been using them for Bitcoin mining. I'm sure you've heard about this on the news. So a lot of people have been buying these parts and using them to mine for Bitcoin. And because of that, there has been a big shortage of graphics cards, or I think they're also called GPUs, graphics card units. Hello to Willian. Hello, Willian. Hello, Gulu. Hello to you as well. Yes, we have Mr. Steve here. We also have our usual video clips, things to take our minds off some of the things that have been happening this week. However, if you want to talk about that, you can. I don't want to get too involved, of course, with that because it is a sensitive subject. It really is. And something that is ongoing. Something that has just started this week. So we will see what happens. Thank you, Palmyra. Mr. Duncan, you are very skilled. I'm not sure about that. Today we are looking at two words that seem very similar. Later on we are looking at attitude and aptitude. So they are two different words, attitude and aptitude. We are looking at those words a little bit later on. We're going to take a break as Mr. Steve gets ready to come into the studio and make himself all comfortable. Mr. Steve will be here in around about 7 minutes. Here is an excerpt from one of my full English lessons to take us right up to that moment where Mr. Steve comes into the studio and says hello. And yes, we will be taking a look at Steve singing yesterday. So if you've never heard Mr. Steve sing ever, then all I can say is you are in for a treat. All of that coming up. Are you learning English? Do you find it difficult to remember words and their definitions? Well, guess what? You are going through the most normal part of learning anything. Grasping something new is not easy at first, but don't worry because help is at hand. My full English lessons will make learning English a doddle. It will become as easy as pie. From now on, it will be a piece of cake, which means easy. I will help you overcome your worries and fears of mastering English. In fact, you are doing it right now, just by watching this video. Welcome to another full English video lesson. I'm happy to see you here, watching me, teaching you. So without any more dilly-dallying or idle chit-chat, let's get on with today's full English lesson right now. Do you ever hear someone make a statement that seems hard to believe? Has anyone ever said something to you that you found hard to accept as true? This might happen when someone is trying to impress you with something they have done, a thing they saw or something that happened to them that seems unlikely. There are many ways of expressing the reaction of disbelief. You doubt what the person is telling you is true. You question the facts, or you find what was said questionable and hard to believe. You are uncertain as to what was said is in fact true. We sometimes like to exaggerate or embellish an event or achievement. You might find what was said hard to swallow. He claims to have been to university, but I find that hard to swallow. In this sentence, we are expressing doubt about the claim. There is a good chance that the claim is false. If you find something hard to swallow, then you are expressing doubt. You feel as if the statement is false and untrue. You find it hard to swallow. Another great expression refers to taking something with a pinch of salt. Again, the thing being said is hard to believe. His claims that he lived in Hollywood for a few years should be taken with a pinch of salt. The thing said seems unlikely. It seems as if the person is telling a lie. We might accuse someone of being full of crap or full of shit. You never went to university. You are full of crap. The thing being said might be described as bullshit. An untrue statement or false claim
can be described as bullshit. Or, if you want to be polite, we can say that someone is full of it. He never went to university. He is full of it. An official statement or declaration that seems untrue can be described as inaccurate or misleading. To accuse someone of lying can be described as calling someone out. The person lying has been revealed to be a fraud. A false claim can be described as fraudulent. The company was punished for the fraudulent claims about their product. In everyday life, we might make the occasional claim that is slightly exaggerated. To make something seem better or worse than it was is a normal part of social interaction. However, these claims can sometimes get you into deep trouble. To be revealed as a liar or cheat is damaging. So as long as the claims made are not too bizarre or damaging, then we are often willing to look the other way. We accept that sometimes a person is not being completely honest with us. An outlandish claim or wild story that seems unlikely will often be taken with a pinch of salt. What is it to express yourself? How do we define those little signals that we give off? Do we really have control of what we give away about ourselves? When we say express yourself, we mean that you show the way you feel, your interest in or reaction to something. You can express yourself in two ways, by doing or by saying. Doing normally means a physical action using your body. Maybe the expression on your face will change, but you say nothing. You pull a face. Or you might show your reaction by doing something physical. You might become agitated and wave your arms with frustration or anger. You might react passively and walk away. We call these reactions body language. You might express yourself by saying something directly. This is not subtle. This is direct communication. You are expressing yourself using words and the tone of your voice. You might even use bad language and swear. I have never heard him swear before. He must have been furious. You might just say what you feel without cursing or swearing. Perhaps you will shout and yell. Or the opposite might occur, and your voice may become very soft and hard to understand. So direct action using movement and speech are the two most obvious ways of expressing yourself. You may not realize it, but we actually use body language all the time. Even when we are sitting still and saying nothing, we are sending out messages to other people. For example, if you are sitting near a person you like, then your body language will show it. And of course, if you are near someone you don't like, then your body language will also express it. I can see by the way you are sitting that you don't want to know me. When we are looking for a partner, then body language is very important. You want the other person to know you are attracted to them. There are many ways to get the attention of a possible mate, but out of all the possible methods, body language is still the best. We call this particular action flirting. Both men and women are capable of this. You could say that it is a part of nature, just like the wild animals in the jungle. So the next time you are sitting on a train or enjoying a party or just walking through town, remember, you are always giving off signals to other people. Your body language is always sending out those subliminal signals that have the ability to give away what is really going on in your mind.
there it was. One of my many English lessons that you can find on my YouTube channel. They are all over the internet, in fact. Some of them uploaded by me and some of them uploaded by other people, which is nice when you think about it. Hello everyone, welcome. Yes, this is English Addict coming to you live from England. Here we go.
Hello! Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful viewers watching us from across the world who've come here for a bit of entertainment and a bit of learning English.
Yes. We can't promise the entertainment, but we will try our best to do it. I am about 40% certain that at some point today you will be entertained. 40%. I know it's not very good, but that I think that's as high as we can get.
We'll do our best.
We will try our best.
Well, you nearly didn't have anything. I expect Mr. Duncan's already mentioned it. Lewis is not here today, we believe, because of a computer issue. And
Yes.
we might not have been here because of a computer issue, but due to Mr. Duncan's cleverness. Or was it
I know.
luck?
Luck. I think it's luck. I had to take my computer completely to pieces. I have a PC that I use for my video editing, but also for this. The thing you are watching now is going through the same computer.
Which?
And this is a part of my computer. So this is one of the RAM cards that I changed. And also, something else that has not been working properly is the cooler for the chip, the CPU as they call it. So I had to fit a new one, and there is the old one. So there is a piece of my old computer, or my new computer, but it's old now. 4 years ago I bought it, and that is part of it. So everything was overheating. So now I've replaced the heat pump or the coolant pump. So that normally keeps the central processing unit nice and cool.
It looks like some kind of
Yeah.
torture device, Mr. Duncan.
It does.
Well, it's broken. What do you mean? Why can't I
No.
touch it?
Well, because there is something called thermal paste.
Okay, yes.
And I'm going to show you something. Here is a little tip that I learnt this week. So thermal paste is very important because you put that in between your cooling pump and the processor, and that stops it from overheating. But I discovered this week that there is a way of getting the old thermal paste off, and it's using one of these little coffee filters. So apparently a coffee filter is a very good way of getting the old thermal paste off, removing it. I'm going to show you. It does work. Watch this. Taking off the old thermal paste.
This is fascinating, Mr. Duncan. I've got to say, I'm sure that the viewers watching today did not.
No, wait there, Steve. Don't interrupt my lovely little moment. Here it is. So there is a bit of thermal paste on there, and now it is on there. So all you need to do is use some of these lovely coffee filters. Use one of those, and the reason is because you don't get any dust or any lint, and these are guaranteed not to cause any problems.
I don't know what's gone in my water, Mr. Duncan. I've probably got thermal paste dust has gone into my water.
Well,
I think I'll throw that away.
look on the bright side, you will never overheat. So that's what I've been doing this week with my poor computer.
Which was, if many of you will remember, that Mr. Duncan did a fundraising. How long have you had that computer now? About 5 years?
No, just over 4 years.
Over 4 years, and many of you probably watching would have helped to contribute towards Mr. Duncan having to get a new computer.
Yeah. Well, we all joined in. You gave me a little bit.
Yes.
I put some of my own money in, and also you also donated as well. So I was able to buy that computer. But of course, that particular computer has been used a lot over the past 4 years. And of course, as with all technology, sometimes it will start to go wrong if it is used a lot. And that's what happened. But I still can't believe that I did it. I can't believe that I took the computer to pieces because I have no background.
Well, I'm not sure if I can fit on the screen anymore, Mr. Duncan. Your head's getting bigger and bigger.
I can't believe it. I still, but I can't. I can't believe that I fixed the computer for now. There are still some issues. As I mentioned earlier, the graphic card needs replacing, but unfortunately they are rather expensive to buy.
They are at the moment, yes. Anyone into computers, which they're sort of 100% more expensive than they were before the pandemic.
Because of all those Bitcoin miners.
People are ripping people off. Yes, Bitcoin mining has sucked up all the world's production of graphic cards, apparently.
And also processor chips as well.
Thank you for saying hello to me, everybody. Yes, thermal paste is silver paste, apparently. Well, I didn't think. I bet a lot of you today, coming on to Mr. Duncan's English channel, was the last thing you'd expect to learn about was how to remove thermal paste from your microchip.
But now you know.
But, where else could you have got this information?
But it might save your life one day because you might blow up your computer because you used the wrong thing to wipe the thermal paste off. So it's a great tip. It's a great tip. And I still can't believe that we are now... I've thought that was it. When the computer wouldn't restart, I thought that's it. It's over. But here we are, proving that sometimes... if you just keep pushing everything in until it works, that I think that is the best way of doing it.
I did say, Mr. Duncan, you probably should take this to a professional to sort out. But
Steve had no faith in me.
Well, I could see disaster. I think we've avoided disaster on a knife edge.
Well, now you need to eat your words because here we are.
No, I didn't say that you couldn't. I just thought it would be a risk. But anyway,
he doubted me, Mr. Steve.
I should never doubt Mr. Duncan.
Talking of skill, you yesterday were showing off your skill.
Well, yes, I've mentioned this in previous weeks that I've been rehearsing for amateur dramatic production of HMS Pinafore, and we had one performance on Friday night and another one yesterday afternoon. Mr. Duncan came to watch yesterday afternoon.
Can I just give some background information? HMS Pinafore is a musical written by Gilbert and Sullivan, and they actually wrote a lot of these. I would say that they are satirical musicals, so they are satiring things that were around in their time. So they were in fact the first ever satirists to actually put satire into musical performance, and it's something that's been around ever since. So HMS Pinafore, and that's the show. And Mr. Steve was in it. We are going to watch some of the show, some excerpts in a few moments.
And a bit of light-hearted relief.
And you will hear Mr. Steve singing.
I haven't seen this yet, so I'm...
Well, you were doing it.
I know, but you don't know what you sound like when you're... It's the same as when you're talking, if you do a talk or if you're on the phone. When you hear yourself... when you hear your voice played back to you, it's always a shock to you because that's not how you hear it. What goes out of here and back into your own ears is not how other people hear you. So it's always a shock if anyone's ever listened to themselves on a recording that, do I sound like that?
Yeah.
It's always a bit of a shock, isn't it?
It is.
So, yeah. Anyway, if I walk off or burst into tears, you'll know why.
No, I know this is going to be. I've already checked it. Mr. Steve sounded great yesterday, and I managed to take some short video clips with my mobile phone. So if the quality isn't very good, that's the reason why. Here we go then, Steve.
Now,
3 minutes of yesterday's performance. You might not be the only person doing that, by the way. There might be people all around the world with
Bear in mind, it's amateur.
There might be people all around the world with their fingers in their ears. Still, it might bring world peace. Who knows? Here we go then. This is 3.5 minutes of Mr. Steve's performance yesterday with his operatic group performing HMS Pinafore by Gilbert and Sullivan. And then we will be back. We were enjoying that. You enjoyed that, really, Mr. Steve. So there he was yesterday, Steve, performing in HMS Pinafore. Well done. Bravo. Oh. I think we should have a round of applause for that. Apparently you are the new Pavarotti.
Thank you for the lovely comments. And on to the next. We're doing Orpheus in the Underworld next.
Ooh, that sounds very scary.
It's a musical by Offenbach. So that'll be, when we do that, we'll show some clips of that as well.
I love it when Steve gets a little bit embarrassed about seeing himself or doing something, and then afterwards you feel a little unsure. I think this is normal though with performers. I think if you perform, if you do something that other people are going to see, and then they are going to judge the thing you did. So I think it can be a little bit worrying.
Yes, because you worry about forgetting your lines or forgetting. That's always my biggest worry, is forgetting. You get halfway through a song and then you forget the next verse. It's the worst feeling in the world, but it's fun. We enjoy doing it, so that's why I do it.
Well, I can safely say, Steve, yesterday I didn't hear you do anything or make any mistakes, although there were one or two other people that kept forgetting their lines.
Practicing quite hard.
Yes. So I, over the past 2 or 3 months, I've been actually listening to Mr. Steve upstairs in his music room, going through all of the...
Music room?
Well, it is a music room.
I know, it's just a bedroom that I've got a keyboard in.
It's not a bedroom because there's no bed in there.
Well, you know what I mean. It was designed as a bedroom. Yeah. I think saying I've got a music room makes me sound very pretentious.
That's like saying that this is not a studio that we're in. This is a bedroom.
Well, yes, but yeah. Anyway, right. Never mind. Thank you for your lovely comments.
You know, sometimes being modest can be a bad thing.
But anyway,
because you end up, and I'm talking about generally. It's not all about you, Steve.
I thought it was.
No. Make your mind up. Sometimes you can be too modest. Sometimes you have to let your light shine.
Oh, I'm brilliant, Mr. Duncan.
Steve.
Oh, I'm fantastic. Oh, I've been holding it all in. I'm the best. There we go.
See, now you're just boasting and bragging.
Never mind.
Is that? Oh, I wish I hadn't just. Why did you just shout in my ear?
You know what I'm like. Once I've been on the stage for a few days, I'm over the top with everything for weeks afterwards.
By the way, over the top means exaggerate.
Exaggerating. You sort of do things in a way that seems like an overreaction to everything. You use lots of emotion to describe what you're doing, and you use hand gestures, and probably more so than you would in normal everyday conversations with people. But anyway.
So we've had 1 or 2 things happen this week. Yes. I had my computer go wrong. Mr. Steve had nerves in his tummy because he was performing in a show. Oh, we also went for a lovely Chinese meal last night, but I think there was too much salt in the food because we couldn't. When we got back, we kept drinking
copious amounts of water.
Drinking water.
Copious amounts. If you drink copious amounts of something, it means a lot.
Copious, a large quantity.
A large quantity of something. But yes. So have we got any particular theme to today's lesson, Mr.
Of course
Duncan?
there is. There's always a theme of some sort.
But I don't know what it is because Mr. Duncan, I just come in, Mr. Duncan prepares it, and I'm just totally oblivious.
Yes.
And then you suddenly tell me what it is, and then I've got to think.
Isn't that your normal state, though? Just oblivious to everything that's happening around you. By the way, yesterday, can I just say, Steve is a local star now, because we were walking, weren't we, to the Chinese restaurant, and suddenly I could hear this voice shouting, "Steve, Steve, Steve," and it was this little old lady in a car. She was driving the car, and she was shouting to get Steve's attention. And she saw Steve and recognised him.
Well, I've got to say, my hand today is so sore from having to sign all those autographs.
Yes, everyone was coming up to Mr. Steve.
I had to have a bandage on, to be honest.
We were in the local Sainsbury's in Wolverhampton yesterday, and he was having to sign people's gherkins.
Yes.
At least I think they were gherkins.
I don't think I can do anything with this hand today, Mr. Duncan. It'll need strapping up.
It's not the only thing.
So what is today's theme? You haven't told me yet, Mr. Duncan.
No, you're the only person that doesn't know, by the way. Today we're looking at words to do with attitude.
Attitude?
Attitude,
right.
And also aptitude as well.
Oh, right. Okay,
so
that's two different things.
Yes, the words seem very similar. Attitude aptitude, but actually they have a very different meaning. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm doing today, don't you?
You're going to eat a Jaffa cake live.
No.
Okay.
We are going to have flags of the world.
Are we?
Yes.
Is Pedro on?
I don't know. It's
Pedro
not,
is on, I think.
It's not just for Pedro. It's for everyone around the world. The world is a big place, as you may have heard.
But we know Pedro has a certain fondness
Yes. Anyway.
for flags of the world.
Anyway, moving on. We are going to have.
We've got one particular flag in there, Mr. Duncan. We'll be looking out for that one, I think.
Okay, which one are you on about?
First letter is a U.
Uzbekistan.
I think the viewers know. There's been lots of comments on today.
Yes.
Anyway, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, that's killed the mood of the live stream. No, it's very good, Steve. When I'm talking, Steve, you don't talk, because if we just talk at the same time, people can't hear us. Oh dear. Yes.
What time are we having flags of the world? In 2 minutes' time?
Yes, at 3:00, as I literally just said.
That gives people plenty of time to go off and put the kettle on and make a cup of tea or coffee.
That's good. Yes, yes, we definitely should be encouraging people just to go away now.
Yes.
That's good, Steve. We need those viewers. But, and it's a big but.
Is it?
We're not talking about my big but. We have flags of the world coming up in a few moments. I think it's a good idea, to be honest with you. So what's happening on the live chat, Steve?
Well, people are making comments about me, of course. Lots of nice comments. Thank you very much. And yes, that is what the U stood for. And I think we should make a song. So we didn't want to, did we? We know what's going on in a certain part of Europe. It's very sad. But we didn't want to speak too much about it on today, because you've got to be careful what you say when you're talking about things like this. But it's very sad, of course.
Yes. Well,
war is bad for
okay, Steve.
everyone.
Yes.
And it's the civilians in those countries that always suffer the most.
Okay.
But we don't want to make any comment, take any sides or anything, because don't think we should be doing that.
We're not commentators anyway. We're not
No. We're not.
We're not geopolitical commentators. You can get that elsewhere on YouTube, but we're not professional. You see, we're not professional politics experts. So there is no way we can go down that road. However, wherever you are watching in the world and whatever is happening at the moment, can I just say I hope you are staying safe.
Yes, and our hearts go out to all the civilians in particular who are going to be suffering at this time.
So here we are then, 3:00. Flags of the world are coming up, and I think we are going to have quite a collection of flags to look at. And then we will be back after this. We are looking at attitude and aptitude on today's English Addict live stream. Steve was just panicking. Don't worry, Steve. Stay cool. Stay cool. Well, of course, that is quite an old video. So don't say anything, please. Don't say anything, Steve. Wherever you are in the world at the moment, we are all here together. That's the message today, you see. It isn't about individual countries. It is about everyone. It's about people. It's about humanity. It's about everyone sharing their similarities and trying to understand each other's differences. That's all we can do as people.
Yeah, this is an English teaching channel. End of story.
That's it.
Right, let's move on, Mr. Duncan.
So there's no need to panic, Mr. Steve. Don't worry about it. By the way, one thing I haven't really mentioned much today is the weather. We are having the most...
Nice today. Carry on, Mr. Duncan.
We are having the most amazing weather today. It is gorgeous, sunny, cold. It is cold, isn't it, Steve?
It's cold, but I've been out in the garden, so yes, I was cold. But I mean, when I say cold, it's about 8 degrees or something. It's not really cold.
No.
You know, not as it's not seriously cold today. You couldn't say it was unbearable.
No, but it's not. What? I don't even understand what that means. But it's cold. It's not 90 degrees. It's not.
It's winter.
It's not that. Yes, that was what I was going to say. It is winter, but I'm hoping as March arrives, March is just around the corner, and we are going to have springtime. Hopefully we will have lots of days like that. I hope so. So we are looking at words and phrases. I do feel like I'm walking on eggshells today with Steve. I don't know why. He always gets like this, though. You know what it's like.
I'm fine.
With performers and artistic types.
Oh, I see.
They're so
You're
temperamental.
blaming me. Right, that's fine.
They're
Yes.
so temperamental and sensitive. They are. So here we go, Steve. Today we're looking at some words connected to attitude. I think attitude is something that goes through everyone's lives, the way we deal with people, the way we view things, the way we do things. Attitude. You can have an attitude, a certain type of attitude. I really want to tell you what's going on here, but I can't. Attitude words, Steve. Attitude words.
Attitude words.
So when you think of attitude, well, I suppose the first thing we think of, well, we can say that the word attitude describes the form of approach to something. I am going to put that pen up your nose.
Well, I've
Please
just got
stop.
it here.
Please
I've just
stop.
got it here.
Oh,
If I need to fiddle with a pen, I will fiddle with a pen.
it's very distracting.
I do it every week.
Steve is holding a pen in his hand, and he just keeps playing with the pen and moving it around, and it's so distracting. See, that's why Jim Bowen gets angry when people are playing with their darts. They keep fiddling with their darts on bullseye. He sometimes hits the contestants. And I might have to do that to Mr. Steve in a moment. The word attitude describes the form of approach to something. Your attitude. I suppose you could say your attitude towards something.
Carry on. Well, I'm letting you carry on, Mr. Duncan.
No, it's okay. You can carry on now.
I've got nothing to say at this particular moment.
Oh, okay. Then. That's a good attitude. A point of view or an opinion shows a person's attitude. So I suppose, yes, that's one way of showing a person's view or the way they see something, their opinion. We can often talk about a person's attitude. Would you say that you have a good attitude, Mr. Steve?
Well, it depends what you mean by good attitude. It's your approach to a particular subject or topic, isn't it? Topic, if you're talking about something, depends whether you take a positive view of things, a negative attitude, or whether you're tied up with your own preconceptions about how you think a particular subject should go or be spoken about. But yes, it's an interesting word, attitude. Mr. Duncan?
I'm just reading the comments on the live chat.
Okay. Yes. I'm not going to comment on the comments.
So attitude.
Suffice to say, this is an English teaching
It is.
channel.
It's also very.
It's not our place to comment on world events.
It's a very awkward one as well. It's a very awkward live stream. I don't think I've ever done such an awkward live stream ever in my life, and we've been on during COVID.
The problem is when you are, Mr. Duncan in particular, I just come here on a Sunday, we are broadcasting to the entire world, and things that you say can be taken out of context, particularly with regard to world events. So
Yes.
we've got to be very careful what we say.
Hmm.
I mean, I've already said that, it's desperately sad what's happening to civilians in any war,
Yes.
in any country around the
And
world.
let's not forget, there are lots of wars taking place at the moment. Across Africa, there are many skirmishes and disagreements. We have in the Middle East as well. All across the world, there are problems and some quite violent conflicts. So we
Yes,
are aware
that
of
aren't
them.
even reported.
We are aware of those things, but there is a time and there is a place for doing those things. Would you say?
Yes, definitely. And of course, I was watching the news last night. It's very sad. I had tears in my eyes watching it. It's desperately sad to see what's happening. But, that's all we're going to say on the subject. We just wish everybody involved that they can stay as safe and well as they possibly can.
It's not about not having empathy or feelings. There are things that I see. There are things that I hear about every day that upsets me. But if I stood here talking about them all, I don't think anyone will be watching. No one will be watching. Trust me.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, right. That's all we're going to say.
Yes.
We just wish everybody well. And anybody watching us from any country where there is conflict taking place, we hope, because it's always the innocent civilians that suffer. Leaders of countries make decisions, and it's the innocent civilians that always have to take the brunt of their decisions.
Okay.
On both sides, in fact, and this is what will happen with this conflict. Innocent civilians on both sides will be suffering one way or the other.
Okay, Steve. So while we're not talking about it, we are talking about it, but we're not going to talk about it anymore, okay?
That's our attitude on the subject.
Yes. Well, it's about being professional when you're presenting a show about teaching English as a second language. For example, if I was reading the weather and telling you the weather forecast, I wouldn't start talking about geopolitics as well whilst I was doing that. So that's the reason why we are doing what we're doing, and we are keeping our distance from that. Because when you say things, well, they are there forever, because we have the internet nowadays.
This is the thing. You can make one comment and it's misinterpreted, and Mr. Duncan's got to think about his channel moving forward, and strikes can be made against you, channels taken off, all sorts of things like that.
It's not about protecting me. No, that's actually not why I'm doing it.
I'm saying that's
I just
one
don't
of the
want
reasons.
anyone to get the wrong impression or idea, and someone say, "Oh, you said that. That means you must think that." Oh, you said that other thing. That means you must think that. It's very easy these days to have your words taken out of context. So that's the reason why.
Exactly.
Yes.
And, that's... we can't be seen to be taking sides.
Hello to Jimmy from Hong Kong. Moving on, Steve. Jimmy from Hong Kong, if you take the brunt, yes, you take the largest amount of force or the largest amount of damage. If you take the brunt of something. You take the largest or the largest proportion of something, to take the brunt. That's a good word, by the way, Steve. So a way of relating to something quite often reveals the attitude of a person. The way of relating to anything, I suppose, is your attitude. The manner of one person towards another. Well, there is something that we've literally just been talking about. So the way people behave towards each other, their attitude, the way they treat each other, wherever they are in the world. Words used or actions taken will often show a person's attitude. I'm sure we've all met people who seem to have the wrong attitude, especially if they want to be good at something or to be successful at something. I think sometimes Mr. Steve hides his abilities sometimes too much, and that can be a negative attitude. Even though modesty is a good thing, it can sometimes work against you as well. I mean, I suffer from the same thing. I don't like to talk. Well, I don't normally like to talk. What do you laugh for?
I'm just laughing.
I don't normally like to talk to other people about what I do. I always feel a little embarrassed because I don't like to talk about it away from everything. Well, you said yesterday when you saw me, I was just standing in the corner of the hall on my own, looking really awkward. And that's it. That's what I do when I'm in a social situation. Quite often,
I didn't say you looked awkward.
Well, no, but I felt awkward. I'm just telling you how I felt at the time. Anyway, dear, this is going really well. I almost wish I hadn't fixed my computer, if I was honest. We can describe attitude as feelings or the expression of feelings. So the way you feel about something, your attitude, your feelings, the expression of feelings is also your attitude. So you might ask a person a question. You might ask them what they are doing with their life. You might ask them how they feel about their life or their work or the things they are doing. So yes, there are many ways of expressing attitude. The individual attitude of a person is their, and I like this word, Steve, their mindset. And this is something you are quite interested in.
Yes, your mindset, how you view things. It's a collection of ideas and concepts that you've built up about the world in your head, probably from a very young age. And often your mindset can be skewed in one direction or another, which may not give you an accurate view of events. What's your mindset when it comes to you all sorts of subjects? You can have a particular. It's just your point of view, isn't it, Mr. Duncan, that you have on a particular subject.
Your perception.
Your perception of something. I mean, the word, having the word set in there. If something is set, it means it's fixed. It's like having a jelly that sets, or a custard that sets. It gives the impression that whatever your attitudes are, they're probably fairly fixed in something.
Yes.
Your mind is set. It's fixed on a particular way of thinking, particularly with regard to maybe race and things like that. What is your mindset when it comes to thinking about race? I mean, that's a very topical subject now. Of course, when it comes in America, what's your mindset or your attitude towards owning guns? Some people would be against it, some people wouldn't.
Yes.
And of course, there's lots of different attitudes and mindsets on all sorts of subjects. What's your political mindset? Are you conservative? Are you conservative in your thinking?
Yeah.
Or are you more liberal, maybe in your thinking, more left-wing or right-wing? That's a mindset. So if you say I'm a conservative person or I'm right-wing, then you've got a certain set of ideas and beliefs in your head. That's your mindset, and they'll be very different to somebody who's on the left. politically speaking. You'll
So-
have a different set of values.
So mindset can be the individual or the group. So you might say the mindset of one person or the mindset of a group of people who all hold very similar views. Mindset. I do like that word, by the way. It's used quite a lot I think it's in sociology and maybe psychology as well, the mindset, your attitude. It is possible to have a good attitude or a bad attitude. A good attitude or a bad attitude. I did mention this briefly earlier. So your way of seeing things or viewing things, your ability to, I suppose, make friends is all about attitude. Your attitude towards people you know. Your attitude towards your work colleagues. I think one of the hardest situations to deal with, Steve, is being in a work environment.
I was going to mention work because attitude comes up a lot in work, and it can be used actually as a weapon against you by other colleagues as well. So if, for example, a company, we get this a lot at work, the company might introduce a new way of doing things, a change. Companies are always changing things, particularly if they want to stay up to date and relevant. But, of course, employees might be used to doing things in a certain way, and nobody really likes change. Most people object to change because it means you've got to make an effort mentally to come to that new place. So if your company, for example, decides that they want you to, they're going to change all your IT equipment, or you've got to talk to your customers in a different way. I mean, there was something during the pandemic, for example, they introduced Zoom. In fact, it was just before the pandemic, but they introduced Zoom, and we've never, traditionally, the way I interacted with my customers was mainly face-to-face, going to see them physically, or it would be on the phone. And then the company introduced, you can contact your customers now using Zoom. Now, this was quite radical, very different, but your attitude towards that change at work was noted, was seen by your manager. So if you immediately took up a negative attitude, you would be saying things like, I don't think that'll work. I've got a poor connection at home. I've tried it, but the customer didn't like it.
It's almost like they're finding reasons for something not to work, or maybe reasons why something will fail. So
Yes.
their attitude is always negative.
So I noticed amongst my colleagues different attitudes when that was introduced. So we had a lot of training, and then we were asked to ask customers if we could contact them in this way because we couldn't see them face to face because of the pandemic. So I could see different reactions from different colleagues, and generally the older the colleague, probably myself, the older the person in the company, the less willing they were to adapt to this change, and you would get all the barriers coming up. Whereas the younger people were more tempted to say, I'll have a go at that. That sounds like a good idea. It's a good way of staying in touch with my customers. I'm not sure if it will work, but let's have a go anyway and try it. And that's what your manager always, I've noticed this with managers over the years. Something new is introduced. They just want you to say, and I've been a manager before, all you want to hear is, yes, I'll try it.
Yes.
Because you don't know whether it's going to work or not, but let's just try it and see. And if it doesn't, then at least you've tried.
I think that's one of the jobs of someone who is in a managerial position. And if they're overseeing lots of people, you've got to keep that spark of positivity. Because I think certainly the last 2 years, and I think it's a great point, Steve, a great point to make, everything has changed. Let's not even pretend that everything is getting back to normal, because I don't think it ever will. I don't think things are ever going to be normal as far as the way we behave socially. I don't think it's ever going to change. One of our friends, we were horrified to find out that a friend of ours has literally locked himself in his house for the past 2 years.
Virtually, yes.
And we didn't even realise. We thought he was just off living his life and having a great time. And we were shocked to find out he hasn't really left the house.
Yes, so that's a mindset. So his mindset is, if I go outside, I am going to catch a disease. I'm going to catch COVID and it could kill me. You know, it's unlikely. He's fit, he's healthy. Yes, he's elderly, but he's fit, he's healthy. He's had all the jabs. So, and he was a doctor. And yet he is so frightened. His mindset has become, I'm going to stay indoors because this could kill me. And he's, got sort of,
Yes.
I'm not saying he's got depression, but all sorts of problems. But that's a mindset that's been developed by a lot of people through fear and through the media probably over-reporting it as well. So every day, that's the mindset that's been developed. Whereas a lot of people now are changing their mindset, and you can change your mindset because you've got to. At the moment with the pandemic, people are saying, particularly in say in the UK, everyone's had 3 jabs. If the choice has been there in a lot of countries, if you've had 3 jabs and you're fit and healthy, you're probably going to be all right. How long are you going to stay locked in your house? So we've had to change our mindset, haven't we? Because
what I was going to say is, it's not just the physical aspect. When you think of COVID, you think of the illness, you think of the cough and the sneezing and the difficulty in breathing. But there is a long-lasting effect on all of the changes. And what we're really talking about is a person's mental well-being, the way we perceive things. And yes, as Steve said, their attitude, their mindset has changed. So I think there are going to be changes. We can't avoid it. The way we work has changed. The way we live, the way we shop, everything has changed. I know things are slowly getting back to normal here. In fact, yesterday we were out. We went to a show. We walked around a supermarket. And then we went to have a Chinese meal. And there were people in there. And no one was wearing masks. And so everything seems like it's back to normal. But there is still a strange feeling. You know that things aren't quite back to normal. You can't explain it. You can't express it in words. But it's just the feeling. You know things aren't quite back to normal. Even though the appearance is that things are. But I don't think things are ever going to be back to normal 100%, because I think in here a lot of people have been, I want to say, damaged, or they've been upset by what's happened, and that takes a lot longer to put right.
But Laura makes a good point, saying learning another language is a very good way to change your mindset.
Yes, very good.
Because you're just not learning a new language, which when you're learning anything, it tends to expand your mind intellectually. But when you're learning a language, because you say we were to learn French, or for example German, I don't know how to speak German, but if I was to learn German, for example, then automatically that would give me interest in the country. So I would look up about Germany and find out more about its culture and its people. And that's what happens when you learn a language. So yes, it changes your mindset, because you might have a particular view of a country, but then when you learn its language, then you understand more about the people and everything there. And that's what education is so good generally, because it expands your mind and gives you different points of view, different perspectives on things. Whereas if you just have the same circle of friends all the time and just talk to the same people, it's like people who go onto the internet and the algorithms just give them information that's similar to what they're already reading about, so they
Yes.
only get to hear. So if you only have the same circle of friends, then you just get the same attitude. People tend to associate with people who have got the same mindsets or the same attitudes, because there's no conflict in those situations. But you get a very closed view of events.
So this is why I like travel. I think travel is a good thing. If you can travel to other parts of the country or other parts of the world, you can learn things. There's always something new to find out. Even if we're talking about the place where you live, even the town where you live, or the country that you live in, you can still find out new things. So imagine travelling to a new place, or learning a new language, or learning about a different culture. All of the information, all of the things you'll learn about other people's way of living. And I think it's incredible. And that is probably a good way of improving the attitude that each person has. I know it's changed my life. Travelling around the world and seeing other people, meeting different people, has changed my attitude. So I think it's an important thing to talk about. We might say a person has the right attitude, a person who seems to treat everyone equally, or maybe they are very open with their attitude towards others. So we might say that a person has the right attitude. A lot of people like you see. They like Mr. Steve. Because Mr. Steve, I suppose you are what we would call approachable. I'm not, and I admit it. I'm not a very approachable person. A lot of people... I remember when I was teaching in China, a lot of students used to say, we want to say hello to Mr. Duncan, but we feel a little bit afraid. And I don't know why. I've never understood that. But you are more open. You have a better attitude. My attitude sometimes is a little bit closed. I don't give too much away. But Mr. Steve likes to wear his heart on his sleeve.
Yes.
Whereas I keep a lot of that in. And I think it does concern people when they meet me for the first time, because they're not quite sure where I'm coming from. What's the deal with him?
Yes, there's a good expression. If you wear your heart on your sleeve, it means that what you're thinking about is there for all to see. Your heart isn't hidden, it's right there. You can tell from what the person is saying and their expressions exactly what they're thinking and feeling at that moment. Yes, I'm not very good. I wouldn't be very good at playing poker, would I?
Steve can't hide his feelings. I'm very good at it.
Whereas
I'm
yes.
very good at hiding my feelings. I can bury my emotional state quite deep inside. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes people find me a little bit cold, or they find me unapproachable, because that's what I come across as. But I'm not really like that. Sometimes I just feel awkward in certain situations, which does seem difficult to believe when you see us doing this.
Notice Pedro's asking me.
Oh,
yes, we don't. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Thank you for asking, Pedro.
Steve is very happy today. Steve is happy because he's been performing.
Yes.
The subtitles are slow. That's because you're watching me live. So the captions will not appear straight away. There is a slight delay with the captions if you are watching live.
Yes.
Because the captions have to come onto the screen. The captions don't know what I'm going to say because it's live. So there is a slight delay. I think it's around about maybe 2 or 3 seconds, the delay, between me saying the word and the word actually appearing in the subtitles. But that's because it's live. That's one of the reasons why. It's very hard, unless, of course, we have psychic subtitles, so they know exactly what I'm going to say. But we can't do that, unfortunately, because it doesn't exist. But thank you anyway for that question. The approach towards something might be described as good or bad. So your approach or your attitude can be described as good or bad. How you view every part of your life. So I said work. I suppose most people think of that. Their attitude towards work. Do you love your job or do you hate it? Do you like your job or do you sometimes find your job boring and maybe unsatisfying? So yeah, we can talk about those things quite often when we are talking about work. A rude, we've all met people like this, haven't we, Steve?
And yes, lots of people have met you as well.
Yeah. Thank you. A rude and disrespectful person can be said to have a bad attitude. We've all met people like this who have a bad attitude. And again, it can be towards anything. Towards their political view or maybe their view of other people. Race is what Steve mentioned. Gender equality. How many genders exist? All of these things, social things, social activities, the way people behave in society. So a person's attitude can be good or bad, but quite often we will describe a rude person or a disrespectful person, a person who is just being horrible. We can say that they have a bad attitude.
Yes, I've often noticed as well in work situations, meetings, and as I said earlier, when the company introduced something new, is that your frame of mind at the time can have quite a big effect on what your attitude can be in that particular moment. So if you're in a bad frame of mind because maybe somebody's upset you, maybe your partner, maybe you've had a row with your partner, maybe a neighbour's upset you or something like that, and then you go to work, particularly if you then drive. I often see that in my attitude to driving. If something's upset me before I get into the car and drive, then if I'm upset, then I'm more likely to overreact or have a bad attitude when I'm driving. Or I might have a bad attitude if we have a work meeting, but certain situations, at work, it probably won't matter too much. But if you're in a bad frame of mind or you've got a bad attitude when you set off on the road, that can have quite serious consequences because your behaviour can be very dangerous because you're driving, a 2-ton missile down the road.
Yes.
Which, if you overreact because you're upset, because you've got a bad attitude, somebody's upset you at work or anything, then it can have real implications. Whereas if you have a bad attitude in one work meeting, you might feel much better the next day. You might think about it, and then you might go to your boss and say, actually, I've had to think about it. I'm going to have a go. I think this could work. Whereas you can reverse certain situations, but if you have a bad attitude on the road, it can have, consequences can occur.
Well, that is sometimes why a person will try to change their attitude towards something.
Martin's here, sorry.
Marty.
Hello, Marty.
Hello, Martin. Nice to see you here. We had a Chinese meal last night without you. We
did. We thought of you.
We were going to have spare ribs, but I realised that I couldn't eat them all because normally you have to be with us to help us eat the spare ribs. So we didn't have them.
We were... Yes, I had a show. It was our last night of our concert.
Yes.
So Duncan came. He wasn't going to. And we went for a Chinese meal afterwards, which was very nice, but incredibly salty. So I'll ask them to leave out the MSG next time. But yes, people can have bad attitudes in a party. If one person's got a bad attitude, if you've got a room full of people and one person's got a bad attitude, it can really ruin things.
Hmm.
It can really set a bad atmosphere.
That's why you want all of your work colleagues to have a good attitude, or else it's like an infection. It just gets worse and worse. So here are two phrases that people might use towards another person who has a bad attitude. You might tell someone to leave your bad attitude at the door. If you are coming here into my house, you leave your bad attitude at the door. You don't come into my house and with your bad attitude, you leave it at the door. And then we have, I will have less of your attitude. So when we say that, quite often we mean bad attitude. I will have less of your attitude. Quite often a teacher will say it to one of their pupils who is showing no respect, or maybe they are misbehaving in class. I will have less of your bad attitude. Or we can just say, I will have less of your attitude.
Yeah.
Quite often we will say that.
Yes.
It means stop it.
If someone says, I will have less of your attitude, it means that that attitude being displayed is wrong, is bad. Yes. Attitude, normally that word is usually used in a negative way, isn't it? Quite often used in a negative way.
So normally we don't have to actually say bad attitude, because if we say a person has an attitude, it means quite often that they have a negative attitude.
Yes.
So their attitude is not good.
And that could be because you have a mindset, a certain mindset, which means that you are probably more prone to not being able to accept changes, particularly at work. I mean, I don't like change when it comes to IT systems at work. So automatically, I tend to have a negative and a bad attitude when I know that some new form of tech is going to be introduced, because I automatically, I mean, my mindset was when they said use Zoom with customers, my immediate mindset was that won't work. Customers won't want to do it. It was all negative.
Yes. You can sometimes be negative when you're having to do something that you don't want to do, or something that you know will be a lot of work. And let's face it, when we're talking about technology, as I found out this week, quite often things go disastrously wrong, as I found out. Unfortunately, a friendly person who shows respect towards others has a good attitude. You might describe a person as having good attitude if they are pleasant in their work, or maybe if they are good at their job and their attitude towards their job is good. So I would say, generally speaking, Steve has a good attitude, especially in social situations. You are brilliant, by the way. Steve is amazing in social situations, and I am awful in social situations. As someone said earlier, Mr. Duncan, you are quite maybe reserved or private. I suppose I am in a way. So I choose my moments. I'm very good at this. I can stand up and perform or do a live stream or teach in front of hundreds of people, no problem. But in a social situation, then in that situation I don't have so much control, you see. So I feel a little bit more self-conscious.
Yes.
I know it's true. It is true. So a friendly person like Mr. Steve, and quite often he is very respectful towards people.
Marty D says, I keep spitting today. I'm a friendly person.
I know you.
Yes, I would agree with that.
You were spitting a lot last week. My iPad last week was covered in Mr. Steve's spit.
I was spitting on stage when I was singing last night. I could see spit coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That poor pianist below me.
Yes. And my poor iPad.
Good job I tested myself. I could have been a spreader last night.
A super spreader.
A super spreader, yes. Yeah, attitude is an important thing, particularly when it comes to work. I mean, but the thing is, you can get into habits, can't you? Very easily, you can get it. But and if you get away with it, if you have a particular attitude, particularly towards your partner, maybe, or towards certain work colleagues, if you behave in a certain way and they don't react back, then that becomes like a default behaviour to you, and then. That's what people do with their managers at work. They're always pushing as far as they can to see what they can get away with, usually to do the least amount of work.
Isn't that what everyone does, though? Who wants to work hard? Who wants to spend all of their day working hard? No one does, really. We always try to find ways of making our life a little bit easier. We don't like working too hard. When you have a long day at work, sometimes you want to make it a little bit easier. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can change your attitude.
Christina makes a comment that I live at work with colleagues with bad attitudes, and this has caused many problems in the company.
Yeah.
Yes, it can really... particularly if it gathers momentum. If one person has a bad attitude, say to the introduction of something new that the company want to try and improve maybe profits or trying to make things more efficient, then if you've got one or two people who have a bad attitude, they can spread that, they can infect other people with that.
It's like a fruit.
And it grows.
It's like something going rotten.
Yeah.
It's like a rot. Something starts to go rotten inside. And the same thing can happen if you have a negative attitude in your work. It
can really drag things down in terms in at work. We often see this and I often see this a lot at work. I mean, we're quite positive at work in our company. Most people are fairly positive. But you only need one or two people and it can really drag everything down. But yeah, okay. Right, okay, interesting. Any more words, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, we've got more words in a moment. So we were talking about attitude. There is another word that looks very similar to attitude, and that word is, if I can find it, aptitude. Aptitude. Another important word when we are talking about the way you do things. But this is something that can occur naturally in any person, any individual. The word aptitude relates to the display of a natural ability, something you are able to do. So maybe something you already have a natural ability to do. Maybe, I suppose a good example is singing. You might have an aptitude towards singing. So that is a natural ability that you have, something you are able to do. And it is something that is almost part of you, almost the way your brain has been wired or your body has been put together when you were growing. So you can have extra strength, extra ability. Maybe you have some ability in your mind that you are able to do, a talent. Talent is aptitude. It is something you can do.
Yes. It's another word. It's a synonym, would you say? Aptitude and talent are synonyms. Yes. So we're all human. We've all basically got the same. Most of us have got arms and legs, and if you're a fully functioning human being, let's say, then we've all got basically the same brains, the same abilities. I mean, I think humans pretty much, we can do pretty much anything. We can all do pretty much anything. I mean, Mr. Duncan could probably be trained to do brain surgery. I might be, somebody might be able to train me on how to be a weightlifter, or how to repair a computer, or
Yes.
something like that. But they're not things I would be naturally very good at. But an aptitude relates to something that you have a natural ability for it, that is over and above what other
Yes.
people can do. So yes, all of us watching could probably all be trained to do a bit of brain surgery,
Yes.
but we wouldn't all be very good at it. So the people with an aptitude or a talent will be very good at it, and that's particularly noticeable in the arts.
Yes. A natural ability, maybe for drawing, painting,
Yes.
maybe for playing a certain musical instrument. So that's something that often happens in schools.
Yes.
You will find that they will often encourage the children to try different things, such as playing the piano or the violin, or maybe something that they hadn't tried before. So they are trying to find those who have that natural
Yes.
ability.
Because we could all be trained to play we could all be taught to play the violin or the piano. There's going to be very few people that couldn't do it a bit. But the people that have an aptitude, a natural talent, will be just. I mean, look at Beethoven. He was writing music when he was 8 or something, wasn't he?
Yes.
And see, that's an aptitude. That's a special talent.
You would probably describe him as a prodigy,
Yes.
a child prodigy.
But I mean, like a painter, take a famous a painter like Picasso or anybody like that. We could all do a bit of painting. We've all probably had a go, but it doesn't mean we've got a natural aptitude towards it. It just means we're human beings. We can all basically do everything that everybody else can do. It's just that we can't do it particularly well. Some people don't really have any. Some people are just fairly good at everything. And what's that phrase, Mr. Duncan?
A jack of all trades.
Master of none.
Yes. So you are able to do lots of things, but you are not very good at any of them. But you can do them. You are able to do them, but you don't do them very well, and you're not an expert in those areas.
No, I mean, I can do a bit of singing, but I'll never be, a Pavarotti, because I've got a little bit of. I think it's more that I want to do it rather than I haven't got a huge talent. I know I haven't got a huge talent in it. I can do it a bit.
Yes.
And through doing it over a long period of time, I've got slightly better. But I'll never be a Pavarotti because I haven't got that natural aptitude. That is something wired into your brain.
Yes.
That's to do with the way your throat's constructed, your voice box and everything else. You can't fight what you're born with, but we can all do we can all do everything. I don't think there's anything that we could all we might not want to do it, but we could all pretty much do anything. Any job that anyone's doing in the world now, we could all do it a bit. But we wouldn't all necessarily do it and have a natural. I think I've made my point.
Several times. The word
Yes.
aptitude is often used positively to show that a person has ability. They have a certain ability. They have an aptitude for something or an aptitude towards something. You might say that a person is naturally gifted or able. So this is a common one. So you might say, oh, little Johnny, he picked up the violin, and it's almost as if he had been playing the violin for years. He is naturally gifted, or he is naturally able to do it. And that is, well, I suppose another good example is Monet. Monet, who started painting at a very young age. And he excelled even as a child. And one of his most famous works, I think he did it when he was about 20, maybe 21. So already before that time, he had been painting for many, many years, he became very interested in the structure and the appearance of everything around him. So you can do it. You can have a natural ability. You can be naturally gifted.
Yes, in something. And then if you want to develop that talent to its maximum potential, then you have to do lots of practice to take it to its maximum level. I mean, we all know what it was like when we were at school. We were in class. So there was, for example, mathematics. I just don't have any natural aptitude towards that.
Yeah.
I can do it a bit. I can add up. I can do certain sums. But if you're sitting by somebody in a classroom and they're very good at maths, they've got a natural aptitude towards it. And yes, you can make yourself a bit better. But if you haven't got some natural talent there to start off with, then... And obviously some people, if they practice and practice and practice, they might get slightly better than someone who's got a natural aptitude who doesn't do any practice. But if that person who's got that natural ability develops it, then they'll be streets ahead. That's interesting. Who's that famous historian that you like, that we've mentioned before, who's got his own YouTube channel now?
Oh, David Starkey.
David Starkey.
David Starkey, this guy. You mean this guy?
That's right. Yeah. So
you see, he can't believe that you couldn't remember his name.
So yeah. So there's a very clever, intelligent person that went to top university in the UK, and but he said he was very good at maths, but he was also very good at history. And he said, no, or science, that's it. He did science. Or was it maths? I can't remember. But anyway, he's probably a lot cleverer than I am, even at maths. But he said when he was with people who had a natural aptitude towards it, he said they were far, far better at it than him. And it's just the way your brain is wired.
Yes.
I mean, to be very good at maths and science, you have to have a brain that's wired in a certain way. If you want to be a good singer... you've got to have the voice box has got to be made in a certain way. You can never change that.
No.
You can make the most of it, but you will never get that lovely tone.
Anyway, Steve, you've made that point very clearly.
I think I have, yes.
A person can be tested for a natural ability. They undertake an aptitude test. This is something that is often carried out during a person's childhood, or maybe slightly later, if you are trying to find out what a person, an individual, is able to do. You can take an aptitude test. Also, of course, if you are trying to work out whether a person has a certain level of intellect, you might have an aptitude test.
That's it. You can't change whatever your IQ is. You can flex it a bit.
But you have to put a hell of a lot of work into it.
You can't change your IQ by very much. I mean, you couldn't go from an IQ of 100 up to 150. I don't think you could do that physically.
I don't know how that actually works. Let's not talk about that because we don't really know.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a member of Mensa.
Well, I'm not a member of Mensa. That's the point I'm making.
Oh.
But I've read something in the past about that. You can increase your skill in something, but you can't fight what you're born with.
Yes.
You can only flex it to a certain extent.
It's a bit like trying to win Formula One on a bicycle. You have a bicycle. That's all you have. You don't have a high performance car. You have a bicycle. So some people have a bicycle up here, and some people have a Formula One racing car. But you can't change that. However, you can make the best of what you've got, and that's what I've done.
Yes, make the best of it.
I am terrible. I am thick when it comes to maths and numbers. I am completely blind. I'm terrible at adding in my head. I can't add and subtract in my head. The numbers all just become very confusing. It's like it's just a big mess in my brain. So I know that. I know that I'm limited to that and buy that. But there are other things that I'm able to do.
Yes.
So that's it. You find out. That's why it's good to find out what you can and can't do, because then you know which road to take. We all have an ability. We all have something that we are able
Better
to
at than somebody naturally better at.
Yes.
Gulu 10 says, I have an aptitude for learning English.
Good.
Yeah,
Some people are very good at learning languages.
that's it.
They have a natural ability to hear and then remember. It's almost as if their brain can just take all of the information, and they do it very easily. They do it without even trying sometimes. So there are people, polyglots, who are able to speak and understand lots of different languages. That is, again, part of the brain that works very well.
And there are differences in natural skills between the sexes as well. Got to be careful what we say, because there are lots of different sexes these days that are registered. But if we just talk about men and women, let's keep it simple for this analysis. They tend to say that women are better at multitasking than men because the brains are wired differently. So that's a natural ability. They say men are better at other things, but that's to do with physical skills. I mean, the fastest person in the world is a man, and that's you can't change that. But that's with the physical makeup. You can't. A woman couldn't develop that. That's just a natural. Well, I don't know whether you call that an aptitude. And it's the same with specific talents for women against men. There are certain things you can't change, but there are certain things you are born with, different skills that you have.
So we all have some sort of aptitude or ability. Everyone does. You do. Mr. Steve does. I do.
I haven't got many.
Everyone has something that they are able to do. The difficult part is finding it. Quite often we go through life never even knowing or realising what we can actually do. And I think that's tragic. And there are so many people who waste their lives or waste a talent that they could utilise or use in some way. And sometimes you might not even realise you have it. That's the worst part of all.
Well, and therein lies another conundrum in a way. Some people have a natural ability and a skill and a talent, but they don't want to use it. I mean, there's been lots of famous people who have got tremendous talents and they haven't got the motivation to develop it because they don't really have an interest. So you can be born with a talent.
Yes.
And not actually want to develop that talent because for whatever reason you're not interested. You might be talented in lots of different ways. You might have lots of different talents, and you can choose between your abilities, which would be very nice to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Autumn smartphone has an aptitude for sleeping. I have to be honest, I might share that with you, you see. I think also I enjoy, naturally, I have a natural ability just to fall asleep at any moment of time. We will be going in a few moments.
Okay.
Physical aptitude and mental attitude. So they are different things. And this is what you were saying earlier. Your aptitude towards something mentally, up here, something you are able to do. But of course, physically, Steve mentioned Pavarotti, a very specific design. Your body is designed in a certain way, which gives you certain abilities.
Yes.
And that's it.
I could practice singing for my entire life. I could have even if Pavarotti was still alive, I could get him to teach me how to sing, but I would never ever sound like him. Because I haven't got that, I haven't built that way. You can't develop that. You can't become like that unless you've got the voice box the chest, the cavities, or the facial bone structure necessary to do that. So, that's the sad fact of life. We have to accept our limitations sometimes.
That's it. We have to we have to accept our style.
I'm mentioning Pavarotti. There are, of course, many other famous opera singers. But, just I'm only mentioning Pavarotti because most people have heard of him as a well-renowned singer. I think he's probably the most well-known singer in the world, I would say.
Yes.
Or was. He's not alive anymore.
No, definitely. Physical aptitude, your ability to run fast, your ability to lift heavy weights above your head, your physical ability to do things that other people can't. Maybe part of your body will do something that others cannot. Maybe you can put your hands behind your back and scratch the elbows of each arm. It's not as easy to do. Have you ever tried that? You put your arms behind your back and then you try to touch the elbows. Your elbows.
I can only do it because I've got a shoulder injury here, so I can only do it with one.
But you can't do it at all. It's actually almost impossiple to do.
What are you trying to do?
Touch the opposite elbows.
I see.
Don't try to do
it.
it,
No, I won't
Steve.
try to do that. No.
Mr.
Anna Rita says, I'm still searching for my natural aptitude. Smiley face. Well, you could be one of these people who is good at a lot of things. See, quite often these very talented people who have got this massive ability are good at that one thing and then very bad at other things. So there's often a trade-off, isn't there? You can't be good at everything.
Yes.
And I don't know how that works.
A trade-off.
A trade-off, yes. I mean...
So you prefer one thing over another. So you are willing to give up one thing so you can do another thing.
Or literally, you've only got so many resources, and if a lot of those resources are all going towards that one talent, it may be quite often famous performers just have this inability to run their lives properly because they, to be very talented in something like a very good actor or performer, they often tend to have sort of not mental problems, but they often have great difficulties in managing their everyday lives.
Yes.
So they have disastrous relationships, for example, or they can't look after money, or they have they eat too much or something. Whereas if you are more balanced in your abilities, like Anna, for example, then you'll probably be good at everything, and your life will be quite balanced and successful. Often talented people have neuroses and they have other problems because they can't manage other aspects of their life.
Got to stop there for a sec.
Okay.
It's got to stop there because we're going in a second. So I think it's fair to say that everyone has some ability, something we are able to do, some natural aptitude. And yes, I agree. I think we just had a comment on the live chat saying that this is the reason why we must always make sure that we know what children are able to do. Yes, I wonder how many Picassos or how many Van Goghs or how many Sharon Stones, showing my age there, aren't I? Or how many Tom Cruises, or how many scientists, how many people have slipped through the system and they could have changed the world for better.
Yeah.
So there must be lots of people who just miss out on being discovered, their natural ability or their natural talent, something that a person is aware of, but they think, I better not tell anyone because they will think that I'm weird. And that, I'm sure that happens quite often. I think so. finding your talent and your ability. So I suppose we all have strong points, abilities, a certain thing that we are good at doing. It's almost time to say goodbye. We've had a busy week here with my poor computer deciding to break down, and I still can't believe that I took it to pieces, completely to pieces. All of the bits were in my hand. I remember, Steve, you came into the dining room where I was doing it, and I remember you looking at the computer with all of the bits and all of the parts all over the table. And I think Steve was a little bit horrified.
I'm a little concerned that it hasn't been safety tested, but
It's safe.
well, let's hope it is. Anyway, nice to be here. Hope you all have a lovely week, and hopefully see you all again next week.
Yes, and we will be back next week. Whatever happens, we will be here in one way or another. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Yes. As long as World War III hasn't started, we'll be here next week.
No, even if it has, even if World War III has started, we'll be here. There might be nothing behind us. Everything will just be flat and on fire, but we'll be here. So whatever happens, come rain, come shine, come nuclear war, we will be here every Sunday. And of course, Wednesday. I'm back with you on Wednesday as well. So don't forget.
We'll take each day as it comes from now on. Okay, I shall go into the kitchen and make a cup of tea, and I'm hungry. So once again, nice to be here. Nice to see you all, and have a nice week.
Thank you, Mr. Steve, for joining us today. Very nice. It's almost time to say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It's almost time to go, and yes, I will be going, but as I mentioned, I will be back with you on Wednesday 2 p.m. UK time. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It's been a busy one, and yes, we have had some big topics, some big conversations, everyone having a chance to express their point of view, which of course is one of the reasons why we join each other every Sunday and Wednesday, so we can share our experiences together and communicate as one, which I think is a good idea. Thank you very much for your company. I will see you later. Take care of yourself, and I will leave you with the beautiful view outside my window. It is very nice. I hope where you are, you stay well, you stay safe, and most importantly of all, you stay happy. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English, saying thank you for watching. See you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet here, right here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.